Due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Illinois Nazis. I hate Illinois Nazis.
We are very blessed to call this nation our home, and that's what America is. It is our home. It's where we raise our families, care for our loved ones, look out for our neighbors, and live out our dreams. It's my prayer that on this Thanksgiving, we begin to heal our divisions and move forward as one country, strengthened by shared purpose and very, very common resolve.
It's just a coincidence that you were talking about the Jack and Triumph show, and I'm here. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, guy who makes all those unlistenable podcasts over at smodcast.com, and you're listening to the Two Strangers, One Podcast. This is podcasting.
You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes or on the Stitcher app for Android devices. Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. Now, here's Chris Cologne and Paul Pasquillo.
Well, hello, and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And Paul, welcome to Trump's America. The last episode we recorded was the day before the election, and I know you've been chomping at the bit to talk. And of course, the freaking the minute we start recording, the heater comes up, because we are recording this. Guys, before we go into the whole Trump thing, we are recording this like our first like real snow here in Rochester. The Northeast kind of got hit. I think some of the Midwest got hit also. It didn't get, like, I don't even think it snowed in New York City, but
we got a bunch of pussies here in Rochester.
Yeah.
But continue.
Oh my God! This morning, you know, you live in Rochester. You're born and raised in Rochester. Learn how to fucking drive in snow, people. And I have a rear wheel drive car. Rear wheel drive cars do not go well driving in ice and snow. Yet somehow I can manage to fucking not fucking plow into a fucking another car. But other people, there's a difference between driving safe and driving like a fucking pussy. And I'm sorry, people, don't drive like fucking pussies. And it drives, you know, and it just disgusts me when I get behind people that like...
Disgusts you.
Just go, just fucking go. What are you scared? If you're that scared, stay home. Take the fucking bus. You know? I don't know, call fucking Uber. I guess, whatever. But you know, get a fucking taxi. Those people, if you're that fucking terrified to fucking drive, then stay the fuck home.
It was so here's what makes me laugh about the whole situation. So, RAT, Rochester Institute of Technology.
Yeah. College.
Yeah, it's one of the colleges here. It's one of the top 3 in the nation for technology and whatever. They closed.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and, okay, so the high school and the elementary school that are just down the street from you did not close, but yet you're closing. Oh, by the way, Monroe Community College didn't close either, but yet you're open. You're not open.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
college,
sense.
You know, I guess they wanted to have a 3-day weekend.
I think
it wasn't that bad. And then plus, like, what kills me is that, okay, yes, it did snow a lot, and in the morning there was, like I said, the streets weren't plowed properly, and you know, it took me an extra couple minutes to take my daughter to school. You know, driving behind slow people, and of course driving cautious. I'm not a maniac. I'm not flooring it in the fucking snow and the ice. But you know, but by fucking noon, like, the streets were, all the plowing that needed to get done was done.
Yep.
And pretty much all the cars driving in general got the streets down to where they were supposed to be. Mm-hmm. But you know, I guess, you know, the college wanted to have a 3-day weekend. You know,
I don't know. It just makes me laugh because, like, you know, you see these people. And okay, granted, if you lived in Livingston County and actually Ontario County too,
which are counties,
obviously Livingston County had a travel ban. Mm-hmm. Ontario County's right next door, and you know, Victor's kind of like in that little area there, mm-hmm. where because I think like Livingston comes right up to where Monroe. Well, it hits Monroe, but I think it comes right up next to where Victor is. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about that, but it was really weird because it's like, okay, these schools are actually calling off, so is it getting really bad? Because like Fairport was over there too, so. Mm.
Yes, Raven? I'm using my phone right now, sweetie, and we're recording, so can you please go back upstairs?
Go back upstairs.
Raven, go back upstairs. Go back upstairs. Thank you.
It's not funny, Dad.
I'm using my phone. I'm using my phone.
Tell me when you're done using your phone.
Okay. Sorry about that podcast edit. But that's what happens when you're doing a live show. Let me see. So before we rudely interrupted, what I love is that they always talk about the people in the suburbs always get a blackout. Like, you know, the minute there's any kind of snow, it gets a little cold, boom. You know, oh, such and such county, this area has been blacked out, that black. Well, that's what you get for living out in the fucking sticks. You know what I'm saying? Like you could have it one or two ways. You can live in the city and be around minorities and maybe your car stereo gets stolen. Or you can live out in the fucking suburbs where you fucking, you know, the temperature drops lower than 34 degrees and you lose fucking all power for a couple of days.
Well,
So,
I mean, it wasn't just, it wasn't that. I mean, there were places like up in Greece that lost power.
Greece is the fucking suburbs. It's
right next to the city, dude. Like, it's literally like next to the
yeah,
city.
but I'm just, there are people who
I don't
live,
consider that like Hilton. I consider Hilton the suburbs. I consider that the country. Give them some fucking banjos and shit. But what did Darrell say?
I think Darrell's commenting on Raven coming on. He goes, "Oh shit! Look who decided to come in." Yeah, that's what happens when we do a live show. Unfortunately, and I'm surprised because there's a contraption on the door that it's like a childproof thing, but I guess she figured out the childproof thing. You know, so kids don't wander down here. But you know, it is what it is. That's what happens when we do a live show. Okay, so also in other news, and okay, now we're kind of kidding. In all seriousness, Japan just got hit with a magnitude 7.3 earthquake, and they're in tsunami warning, tsunami effect. I don't think as of right now, as they're recording this, nothing bad has happened. But
do I see that underneath that note? The next thing there, is that true?
Oh yeah, we do have an Oscar letter which we're gonna get to. But let me see, what did Darrell say?
I don't really want to know what he said.
Paul keeps telling me to move to Rochester, but fuck that. No, Darrell, stay in Alabama, bro. As a matter of fact, get a spare room.
Let me put it to you this way. Do you want to deal with the racists down there, or do you want to just deal with little snow?
I'll look. Well, no. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Look, Rochester's my home, and I have to make it my home, but I think I'd rather be in fucking Alabama. I don't know. If I had a choice, no.
I don't know.
Darrell's, save me a spare bedroom, man. Or send me the apartment ads in the newspaper. You know,
the apartment.
What? You know the when you look in the paper and they have like apartments.
Yeah,
I guess I could go on like the Craigslist. You know, Alabama's Craigslist. Which I've done before.
Now you're Craigslist apartment hunting.
Yeah, Craigslist apartment hunting on in Alabama. And it's funny because Darrell. I'm glad you are here because Oscar did write a letter, and I will go over to it. Paul's going to dig into Trump in just a moment, but
damn straight.
And it's funny because I'm glad Darrell's here, and I'm glad that we have Oscar's letter here. Okay, damn guys, like a movie of the week. Trump is your president-elect. Why is everybody freaking out? I see on the news that there are protests throughout the states. You Americans need to calm down. Nothing is going to happen. It would be hilarious to see the heads of Canada and Mexico come on the news and say that they don't want any friggin' American immigrants trying to get into their country and taking away jobs from their citizens.
I don't think anybody wants to go into Mexico.
Canada actually does have like not strict immigration.
Oh no! They got billboards. Like I think there's actually billboards in Buffalo right now that are stating, "Hey, moving to Canada? Here, let me help you." Mm-hmm. Seriously, not even kidding.
People making a business out of it. He goes, I hope all the liberals actually leave the country. It would make a great reality show. Trump can host it at the end of every episode. Say you're deported. That would be hilarious. Now I'm very interested to know what Pill Packing Urkel has to say. So Darrell, while you're here, I'll switch back to the browser and we'll see what you got to say about it. I actually heard on the news for Trump to have a national carry law. If you're legal to carry in one state, it would be valid throughout the U.S., which, like our driver's licenses, because when I was a state correction officer, I was able to carry. Now, I was carrying my weapon under my peace officer status when I was a correction officer. And actually, George Bush, W. Bush, after 9/11, signed a thing where if you were a peace officer, your right to carry a weapon was legal in all 50 states, or at least the 48 continental states. I can't. I'm not going to speak for Hawaii or Alaska, which is why I was able to buy my house in Jersey. Because I could have bought my house in Jersey and just not carried, or just carried and hope I didn't get in trouble. But once it got signed, a lot of people started moving, because the other Western New York states have Western New York facilities. People live in Pennsylvania, and they commute from Pennsylvania into New York. So yeah, I was able to. So if Trump makes it a thing where everybody carries, like I said, it would be no different than our driver's licenses. We got our licenses issued for the New York State, and it is recognized in every other state. It's not like, you have to get a different license if you're going to be driving in California or something like that. Okay, Darrell's already commenting. Let me see, where is he? And we'll get back to Oscar's letter in just a moment. Okay, Darrell says, I don't mind being able to carry in every state again. And, he's got to go. All right, Darrell, thanks for coming on. I'm not against that. I'm surprised that hasn't been pushed.
What did he say at the end of the letter there?
Okay.
It was like a PS or something.
Oh, yeah, no, there's more to the letter. I just wanted to get back to what Darrell was commenting.
Well, just read the rest of this. Come on.
Okay. All right, what he says, Trump is for a national carry. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, if that's what you heard, but it wouldn't surprise me. Okay,
there's a lot of fake shit out there, by the way, Oscar.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of bogus websites out there. So the pistol-packing Urkel can bring his guns to Rochester and protect Chris. You guys fucked up and should have an election show episode with Urkel as the guest. Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm about to have an election show in about 2 seconds, so...
It'd be so interesting to hear Paul Darrell and you discuss politics. And Chris, can you please explain how it's possible that you get fired from a retail job? That's still, I don't want to get into it, but, it was people who just didn't fucking mind their business. It's a long story short, had people just minded their fucking business, everything would have been good. But I'll get to that. Hopefully, I'll get to that. Paul doesn't take a whole hour trashing Trump. But I've looked for jobs. I've been looking for jobs, and I do have one lined up for next Monday, right after the holiday. I'll be going into training. Which is good,
because it was only a couple weeks that you were out of
exactly.
jobs,
I'm not one of these fucking... trust me. It was wonderful to think like, oh yeah, I could sit at home and collect unemployment or scratch my ass and play PlayStation 3 and jerk off and stuff like that. But I got to get back to work. And this company is actually, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I don't want to... One, I don't want to get in trouble with my company, with the new company that I'm going to be working for. But more money, basically like more than $1 plus more an hour, plus a guaranteed 40-hour work week. Where in my old job at the evil corporation known as Rite Aid, I couldn't get fucking, I had to fight for 37 hours. So any friends of mine, if you're within the sound of my voice and you happen to be in a state that has Rite Aid, boycott them. Fucking don't just.
Wouldn't that mean Walgreens too?
Well, when Walgreens buys them out, okay, then go back. But if you can spend your money at some other store, don't go to fucking Rite Aid. Okay, so that's how I lost my job. Back to Oscar's letter. Isn't retail one step above the guys that empty porta sand toilets? Dan, Chris, I know that you're an atheist, but you need to find some religion. I hope that you have the common sense to know that you shouldn't go to any job interviews with that horrid, disgusting beard. I actually went to the job interview with this horrid, disgusting beard because the job that I'm going to be doing doesn't require... and I brought that up during an interview. I'm like, look, I know I have this crazy beard. I'll shave it off. But the girl was like, you don't have to. But I may shave it off anyway, just to start from scratch and then grow it slowly at work,
Yeah.
So I may shave it off. That's definitely going to be
that's going to be a stranger vlog.
That's definitely going to be a stranger vlog.
We'll put it in the background.
And he goes, couldn't you land a job as a ditch digger with that nastiness on your face?
Oh my god.
Like I said before, your life makes me feel so good about my life. Get Darrell now. P.S. The Facebook live stream is a horrible idea. I totally hate having you talk to your 3 friends. Just do the podcast as usual and do it more often. Couldn't Urkel Skype in for you, to you guys in Paul's basement since Chris is too broke to own Wi-Fi?
It's a little bit.
Well, actually, look like what Darrell commented right now. He's obviously like at work right now.
Yeah, Mondays he's working, but
we would have to like push that.
I will give, for those of you that do listen to this show, if you don't listen to Toonami's Faithful podcast, Darrell has gotten a new job. This is today, and I think tomorrow is his last shifts there.
I missed that. I haven't listened to the last recent episode.
So you need to give some prop. You need to message him and be like, good job.
Oh, okay.
And there's some other things that go along. I want to bring him on so he can talk about it, because then he can rip that old job of his now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's going to be hilarious.
That was going to be so much fun. I can't wait for him to do that. That's going to be hilarious.
So even though Darrell chimed in, he couldn't be on right now because he was at work.
So the problem is you got to understand when you do a podcast like this, we're recording with this mic right here. So those of you that are watching the live stream, you can see me pointing at this mic right here. That's making me look like Wilson from whatever the show was, Home Improvement. Because of that, we can only do it that way. We can't just Skype somebody in, because there's the chance that while we're recording that, we're not. Well, first of all, it's going to sound terrible, because then it's going to pick up through this mic. Yeah. Then it's going to be an echo loop kind of thing going on, and then we have to keep it on so that way we can hear it. So it's too much. It's too much.
If we were to have an episode with Darrell on through Skype, it would have to be just me and Paul with headphones on. To make Oscar happy, we wouldn't live stream it, because that would be way too much going on.
And the other thing is we would have to be in separate rooms too, because that's another thing. Because again, that would cause if he's on the other side of this room, I can still pick him up.
Let's just say if we Skyped with Darrell off this computer,
right?
Like just this computer. I would put my headphones on. I'd get like a splitter, so you could get the headphones on. We could both talk into the microphone, speak directly to the microphone.
You could probably do two mics too, maybe. Yeah. No, maybe we could try.
You could do two mics, but we could just do one mic. It would be as if one person was doing a Skype call, except it would be both of us.
We'll try it. We'll figure it out.
Splitter. We could do it. Just we couldn't to live stream, because then the audio we wouldn't hear Darrell on the live stream, so it would make no sense putting it on the live stream.
Fuck Oscar.
Sean says, I'm not watching Goldberg until later. Oh, that's right, because you probably like DVRing it or watching it on the WWF network. He goes, the Wi-Fi in here sucks, but I'm watching while I can. Are you commenting in from work, Sean?
Don't get the man in trouble. Shut the fuck up.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, he said the Wi-Fi here sucks.
Jesus Christ.
But look,
Chris, you can't be doing that shit. Okay, you can't be getting people in trouble.
Look, to say fuck Oscar. Look, in any other context, getting for a guy that's like calling me fucking all types of names, in any other context, it would be like harassment or whatever. I love it. I think it's interesting. I think it's funny, and I don't want Oscar to fucking change a bit. You know what I'm saying? Hate us. Keep on hating us. I don't know. I'm
just waiting for the chance to talk about Trump.
I get off on it.
Destroy everybody.
Okay. Now it's funny you mentioned, it goes, Paul, this is the last line of Oscar's.
Fuck.
Oh, just in on the house phone. Oh, okay. Sean's watching off his house phone.
Oh, okay, good.
He's not at work. Okay. And it goes, Paul, enough with the tsunami talk. Nobody gives a fuck.
What are you talking about?
And if they do, they would listen to the podcast.
They do.
Let's not make Two Strangers One podcast an infomercial for your horrible Toonami Faithful podcast. Well, that being said, check out the Toonami Faithful podcast.
Hey, by the way, Oscar, that show gets about between 1,000 to 3,000 listens in the first week it's out, so fuck you, buddy. Okay. Anyways.
All right, so, okay. So I'm going to step back and...
Yes, you are.
I'm going to acquiesce the floor to Paul, who's been just
gonna move this mic
chomping at the
this
bit.
Way, just
chomping
a
at the
little
bit.
bit more.
Okay, so can we get a 1 2 1 2? I would like you to speak so we can see the levels. Okay,
look at that! Look at those levels. They're so beautiful.
All right. So I acquiesce the floor to you, sir. Since our last episode, we were literally recording this the night before the election. Fucking as in a Twilight Zone fucking twist that none of us were expecting. This is a movie of the week, like Oscar said. Fucking Trump won. What the fuck happened, Paul? What the fuck happened?
I'm sad to be a white person. I'm sad to be a white person in two different reasons. Number one, because over 60% of you voted for Trump. You're all fucking idiots. And second of all, all these KKK bastards are coming out of the woodwork now because of this fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, ever since not to cut you off, but ever since this thing, and a friend of mine had like the statistics, and like a couple of hundred hate crimes or hate related incidents. Swastikas going up. Here in Rochester alone, pride flags were getting burned.
There was the pride flag that was burned here in Rochester, but there wasn't any swastikas yet.
No swastikas here in Rochester, but an hour away in Syracuse, they were drawing swastikas on someone's door.
It was below Buffalo, I think.
Oh, okay.
In Wellsville, that swastika that's on the building and everything. Yeah. Well, that might be something different too that you're saying about Syracuse.
Well, yeah, it's just because it's one of those deals where it's like a college dorm, and people can leave notes. Darrell says what had happened is we should have voted for Megatron. Yeah, at least it's peace through tyranny.
Oh, hail Lord Megatron!
Exactly, and I know we'd win the war with Russia then. But yeah, what had happened when in the college campus, people have like doors where you could write on with
right.
And then there dry erase marker, and then they were putting swastikas on people's doors.
Those goddamn fucks that were putting out on college campuses. Oh well, if you tweet to this or if you text to this, that counts as a vote for Hillary.
Oh yeah, there were people.
No.
Yeah, there were people trying to fool voters into thinking that if you just sent a text out.
Welcome to what I experience every day.
Welcome to
yes. That's why I said you need to move your ass up here, Darrell. You can deal with a little bit of snow; it'll be okay. Keep it up. I'm gonna chain your ass to Buffalo.
Yeah, and these, and it bothers me. And once again, I know you want to dig into. It just bothers me that these fucking people now feel empowered to.
Well, let me give you a number because I've done some research. Mm-hmm. I know I'm smart. I've done some research. According to CNN, over 60% of white women voted for Trump. Mm-hmm. Let that sink in for just a minute. 60% of white women, over 60% of women, voted for Trump. White women. Why? Why? This pussy grabbing piece of shit.
Who, mind you, his current wife was a woman that he cheated on his wife before that.
Exactly.
And not to mention that, there's plenty of evidence of him having other infidelities.
Right.
Hillary Clinton, who was cheated on, Yeah. So go on. I'm sorry.
It's that number alone is mind-boggling to me. Now, I put that up on Facebook, and people are like, of course, it's Obamacare. Here's the problem with Obamacare. Some of the states, and a lot of people don't know this, some of the states, when Obamacare first came out, they rejected any funding for the health care. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, say, like, I could get the same plan that somebody in North Carolina was one of the states that did this. Mm-hmm. Let's say I had a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan here in Rochester, and it was $250. I got maybe $100 off because of the subsidies. Mm. There's no subsidies in North Carolina, and it's and then it's like 2 times as much. What do we got on the stream here?
Sketch says, so this is where you guys usually record. This is where Paul keeps me locked up when we finish recording.
Yes, exactly.
Sketch is the corner.
Sketch is patiently waiting for me. So.
Oh, okay.
So you're stealing me away from him. I understand that, yes, the Obamacare was affecting people, but that's not the whole 60%. Okay? That can't... You're telling me that all these white women were okay with him talking about grabbing a woman by her pussy just because he's Donald Trump. No, I don't buy that. So... Number one, what contributed to this, in my view, according to the numbers and what I'm seeing, is sexism. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people did not want a woman president, and it shows.
Yeah.
And yes, okay,
because they'd rather have someone who's like has absolutely no
I don't understand,
no experience whatsoever.
I don't fucking understand.
Instead of someone who's been
let me tell you something.
Part of the system for 40 years or whatever.
Here's a fact. Here's the number one fact out of this whole election. Hillary Clinton is the most qualified person we've ever had run for president. And this woman didn't even win. How the fuck does that happen, Chris? How the fuck does that happen after a guy... First of all,
Backwards
the guy
mentality.
lost all 3 debates. He talked the way he did. He had the controversies he did. But because of some emails that were proven time and time and time again, didn't have anything to do with anything. Now, oh, well, that's an excuse, so I'm not voting for Hillary Clinton. Or even worse, I'm not going to vote at all. Another number to throw out at you. 47% of eligible voters did not vote in this election.
Who the fuck? That's the, I mean,
now I put
that
this
blows
up
my
and
mind.
somebody
Who the fuck didn't vote? Who?
Yeah, somebody actually attacked me on my Facebook page because I put this up. I was like, "Who? You guys should be fucking ashamed that you didn't vote in this election." And the one person got all offended. I deleted her. I deleted her comments off of my shit. I'm like, because that just goes to show that you're ashamed that you didn't vote in this election.
Yeah.
If you had to come out and comment about that. Now, let me make this very clear. I'm not necessarily talking about people here in New York. We overwhelmingly here in New York and all the blue states pretty much, except for the ones kind of in the middle west there, and Virginia. We voted huge for Hillary Clinton. So I'm not necessarily talking about those states. I'm talking about those fucks in Michigan and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Even though Wisconsin went to Hillary Clinton. I'm trying to think what else. And, I think that was part of the problem. Obamacare was another part of the problem. But it was also... Here's another thing that a lot of people do not understand. This is a fact, Chris, a fact. Not only did the Republicans put out... See, they sit there and they go, well, the Republicans had a really good ground game. No, they didn't have a really good ground game. Number one, they convinced people that the emails made Hillary Clinton the devil, which they shouldn't have.
Which have been under investigation for God knows how long.
For 4 years.
And if there was...
The minute she walked out of... the minute that she left as Secretary of State, they started investigating this.
If there was an inkling of anything, we would have all heard about it.
And then number two, and Darrell, I don't know if you're still on the stream, but you can attest to this. They're not down south, and this is why North Carolina and Florida in my view, didn't go for Hillary Clinton, because early voting places were limited down there. They were limited this year to an extreme measure. Like, instead of there being like 10, there was only maybe 4 this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And here's the thing. African American vote tends to be higher in early voting. So the problem that was happening is there was only a limited amount of early voting places, and the times to vote were limited.
Yeah.
So it's like you want these
easy to
you
get
want
discouraged.
anybody to come in. And I'm not just talking about African Americans. I'm talking about everybody. You want people to vote early, but then you limit them to do that. And then on the day, you got lines going down like 5 miles. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but it feels like that sometimes in some of these states. That, in my view, that's why she lost those 2 states. Had we not had I do think that we do have to look at Obamacare, and we do have to look at how people feel about the economy. But the one thing I go back to, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people have to think about when you're watching this on the stream and listening to us, is how does a man that says the things that Donald Trump said get elected to be president? Yeah. And here's another thing. Why is he president right now? Why?
Well, why is he president-elect?
Right, why is he president-elect?
Like, because there's people, there are people who I like Donald Trump because he says what's on his mind. Now, mind you, what happened the other day when Mike Pence, the vice president-elect, went to go see Hamilton, and the people, the actors on the stage got up and they said what they needed to say to Mike Pence, and Donald Trump fucking still hasn't let it go.
No, he still hasn't let it go. And here's the thing, like, Mike Pence said, yeah, I was fine with it. They can say whatever they want.
Yeah,
I didn't have a problem with it. That's democracy. We're going to do what we can, and that's fine. And, that's another reason why I sit there and I go, first of all, I don't think Trump's going to make it the 4 years. And number two, I think that some people think that Mike Pence is the devil. Some of the things he has stood for and some of the things that he talks about, yes, he is the devil. But if we're comparing apples to oranges, so to speak, I'll take Mike Pence any day. And he's a normal Republican. Okay, this is not something that we haven't seen from Republicans before. Oh, they don't like gay marriage or they don't like abortion or whatever. Yeah, typical Republican. I could take the typical Republican. Donald Trump, on the other hand,
is a loose fucking cannon.
Loose fucking cannon.
And then, like, they're talking... Okay.
And here's the thing. Like, if you look right now, and at last count, I think I saw this maybe a couple hours ago, 1.7... Hillary Clinton right now in the popular vote, not the Electoral College, the popular vote, 1.7 million people more than Donald Trump. And this number has grown substantially, Chris.
Yeah, I remember the night of it was only 200,000.
Yeah,
which is still 200,000 people is nothing to sneeze at. But now that over the counting and the what they've been able to calculate has gone from 200,000 to 1.7 million. Which is
so, and this is I kind of got to direct this at Oscar too. The reason why people are out there protesting, and I don't think I've heard many protests recently. I think it's kind of calmed down a little bit. Is because Donald Trump he has said so many racist things. He said so many sexist and degraded women and everything else. That you got white supremacists running up and down the South, well, sometimes up here in the North, putting swastikas up and going like this. You got white nationalists in D.C. having seminars now, fucking trying to get their way into the goddamn Washington elite. It's terrible.
Yeah.
What did Sketch say?
And even I don't know, Pence is extremely against homosexuality. Like he's pro electroconversion therapy or something. He is, and that he is. But that's one of those things where I understand that's where he stands, but it's never going to happen. I mean, that sounds like a beginning of a Twilight Zone episode. It's never going to happen. And flash forward. Please report.
We never thought that Trump was going to happen.
Exactly. We never thought exactly. So. You would like to think, okay, someone's a little crazy, but they're not going to do it. But then again, I guess, yeah, like we just said, I guess we weren't expecting Trump to win the election, so I guess anything is possible.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is over 70% of people thought that Trump was going to lose. And that was part of the reason why people came out and protested that first night. Because they're like, they woke up the next morning because they couldn't stay up late, and they're like, what the fuck just happened? Like, and you know, I'm it's funny because they brought up this fact that Al Gore and now Hillary Clinton won the popular vote but didn't win the Electoral College. And yes, we put the Electoral College in place because, well, we didn't want stupid people to get elected. Well, that didn't work this time. That's basically what the Electoral College is. So to stop somebody from being elected, certain people from being elected. You know, like another Hitler or something like that. That was back. But you know, they weren't expecting that back when they
want people who were living in areas that weren't that populated to kind of have their equal say. Right. So someone who lives in the Midwest doesn't feel like they're overwhelmed by, let's just say, a city like New York City, where it has like 11 million people. 11 million people live in Manhattan alone, or something to that effect. So you know, I could see someone in the middle of nowhere where you can drive 20 miles and not see a neighbor, feeling a little intimidated. And I understand where the Electoral College comes from, but that shit needs to be fucking reformed or just straight up fucking thrown out, because I think we're dealing with old numbers when it comes to Electoral College. I don't think, like, you know,
I don't. Well, it's not even that, Chris. Like, I don't think that we should be even having a conversation right now of Trump being president. If somebody is winning the popular vote by as much as it is, there should be something else. Something else should kick in at that point. You know, I get that. You know, okay, fine. Trump won the Electoral College in several states that he probably shouldn't have won, but you're still talking about a popular vote of 1.7 million people. Yeah. You know, like, and it's not just because it's Hillary Clinton. It's because, well, it makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like you said, like, you think he's going to step down. Or
I don't think he's going to get stepped down. I think he's going to cross the line somehow. I mean, he's already crossed the line.
You think he'll be impeached or something like that?
I think he's going to get impeached. I think that. I mean, his cabinet choices so far have been just so out of.
And the dude the guy he chose who runs like the fucking white supremacist website.
Yeah,
you know, like
Breitbart.
These are the fucking people that he's choosing, and that's fucking terrifying. That someone who's that divisive and someone who's that, and you're telling this person's a cabinet. This person is someone who you're going to go to for advice and is going to tell you how to not tell you how to do things, but you know what they say: birds of a feather flock together. And I would have never thought before he ran for election. I wouldn't have honestly said, "Oh, Donald Trump is a white supremacist and a racist." But now it could also be a tit for tat, quid pro quo sort of a deal where he put that guy in his cabinet because that guy probably, what's the word I'm looking for? Volley for Trump. The guy threw his support behind Trump. And his white supremacist constituency. Trump is sort of like returning the favor by putting him on the cabinet.
Well, no. What happened with him was he was very what's the word I'm looking for? He was crucial in getting Trump elected, so that's why they put him in there.
Yeah,
so to an extent, it makes sense, but because of the white supremacist ties, it's not really.
And he goes, okay, Sketch goes, if he keeps deleting tweets that apparently get him in hot water, if he keeps deleting tweets that apparently can't get him in hot water once he's president. I mean, my thing is that, like,
apparently they're going to start archiving that shit, actually.
That's what I'm saying. This is the most craziest, I mean, I know we laugh, like, when we said, like, like when Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California, Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. These are actors, entertainers. Yeah. Somehow fucking Donald Trump, there's pictures of Melania Trump naked online. Our first lady, for the first time in American history, as of January 21st next year, just less than about 2 months away, there will be naked pictures available online of the wife of the most powerful man in the world.
She barely speaks English too.
Yeah, and then like I kind of wanted to bring that up also. Like you said that you think about he may step down. Melania doesn't even want to fucking live in the White House. She wants to stay in New York because they have a son in New York, and his son goes to schools in New York.
I mean, she wants to stay in New York too, so that their kid can go to school, and then the next year they'll move them out there. But even Donald Trump said that he's not going to spend all of his time in the White House.
What the fuck world are we living in where the president doesn't want to live in the White House? He'd rather stay in his like literal golden tower,
right?
And it's a fucking. This is like a Twilight Zone episode. It's a fucking to bring it to the newer parlance for people on Netflix. No, this is a Black Mirror episode. This is an
episode of Saturday Night Live,
Outer Limits or some shit like that. It is just like I can't. The president's the president, but who won't live in the White House. Earlier today on Facebook, he kind of outlined some of the things he wants to do, and it's all these executive orders, and he wants to like if you're ever part of the government, you can never be a lobbyist or something like that. Which that I get, And once again, I think in a weird way, his intentions are good. Like I don't think he's sitting there plotting to fucking destroy the United States, but he's so fucking batshit crazy that he believes his own lies. He believes his own. Well, lies is not a right word, but when he boosts himself up, he believes it. Whether it's real or not, he believes it. And how many times can you keep saying the sky is purple before you fucking honestly really believe the sky is fucking purple?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it just bothers me. Now, okay, we've got a couple more things I just wanted to bring up. Yes, like Oscar mentioned in his letter, there are protests going on. My thing is that it makes no sense like when they say, oh, they're protesting here in Rochester or they're protesting in New York City. New York City is a blue state, and no offense to the protesters, but you're preaching to the fucking converted. You're preaching to the choir. It makes no sense if you're going to be protesting in a place where Hillary obviously won New York State. Now, obviously, it's not like you're going to jump on a plane and fly to fucking, the Midwest and protest. But, I mean, that's where it's really going to be heard. If you're going to protest. Now, of course, that's saying, don't tell people to go to the Midwest where people are carrying weapons and then go protest and be anti-Trump. But, my thing is, if for the people that are protesting, their hearts are in the right place. But if you're protesting in New York State, especially in a city like Rochester or in a city like New York City, protesting, you're not really making, other than maybe just getting on the news, and you're just pissing off the people who live in the suburbs, and they're not even seeing the news because their fucking lights have been taken off because of the snow. And then last night they had the American Music Awards where Green Day, in the middle of their song, they started chanting "No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA, no Trump." Okay, which I thought it was they're aging punkers, but I dug that deal.
Well, there's a lot of that's another thing that bothers me about this whole thing. You had pretty much every newspaper, including Republican newspapers, putting their support behind Hillary Clinton. They never endorsed a Democrat before. You got celebrities, which doesn't really matter. You got the President of the United States that has over a 50% approval rating leaving office, which you never have as a president usually. You have his wife that gave probably one of the best speeches I've ever heard, not just from her, but in general. Mm-hmm. And you have Elizabeth Warren, and you have Bernie Sanders out there, and still this woman couldn't be elected. It goes. I think what happened, Chris, and this will be, and then we'll go to the commercial, obviously. I think what happened, and this was a concern that Bernie Sanders had, was that his supporters were going to stay home when it counted. And as we saw in the primaries, there were several times where Hillary Clinton just blew a state out of the water, and we thought that it would be closer than what it was. And it's because these people wouldn't go out and vote. They would stay home. I think that was part of the reason. That was part of the problem, too. And I think there was a lot of... And Bernie Sanders people that are so fucking caught up on, well, it has to be Bernie or nobody else. You people can go fuck yourself. If you stayed home because you didn't want to vote for anybody but Bernie... And here's the thing that kills me. And this is where everybody should be ashamed. Bernie Sanders had a piece of paper, not a piece of paper, had a booklet in his hand of what the Democratic agenda was going to be if Hillary Clinton was put in office. Mm-hmm. He got a shitload of things put into that would be put into place. Mm-hmm. How in the fuck did you people not sit there and go, oh, I'm going to vote for, let's do this. You wouldn't get every little bit that Bernie wanted, but you'd still get something. Not to mention the most important thing, and this is what really surprised me, because Paul Ryan came out and he's like, if we lose all these Senate seats, Bernie Sanders is going to be in control of the Budget Committee. Mm-hmm. Hello, Bernie people? Yeah, that's exactly what you want. Why are you not out there voting? Look, at this point, Chris, I'm very disappointed in the Democratic Party. I'm very disappointed in people that didn't go out and vote. I think that they're the reasons why we're going to deal with this racist for the next 4 years. And to be honest with you, I would rather have Bernie Sanders in there than somebody else. Yeah. I honestly hope that, well, first of all, I hope Bernie Sanders lives that long. But I hope that he can run for the president, because we need him in. We need to have a Democrat in the office. We need to do it. It needs to happen, because it's now or never. Because if we don't get him out after the 4 years, mm-hmm. the damage that he did is going to be even worse.
Yeah. My thing is, I understand where people say, well, my last bit, and then we'll go to commercial. I understand when people say, this was the middle class white person fighting back and getting their country back, and that doesn't sound, it hits my ear wrong when I say that, but I understand where people are coming from, and that's all. I get where that comes from. Once again, you and I, Paul, we live in a bubble. We live in a fucking fish tank. We live in a city in a democratic state. There is a wide expanse of the country which we would feel uncomfortable living in, and those people would feel uncomfortable living here. And we've seemed to forget that. We're in in these little bubbles, and then there's this big, huge jump in the middle that are filled with people that aren't happy. and they made their voices heard. But one, that does not excuse in any way, shape, or form the rise of hate crimes and stuff like that. Unfortunately, Trump has fucking, there's people, leaving letters under, like, people who've been gay couples who've been married.
I've shared some of that shit.
Now that this country has a real president, he's gonna make your marriage illegal. Shit like that.
Or you can't, like, you need to stop bringing people into this community, or we're gonna take care of you.
Yeah,
take care of it, or something.
It's unfortunately, for the people who genuinely feel that Donald Trump is going to do things to make their lives better, along with that, you bring all this extra fucking baggage, and the baggage are the hatred, are these fucking militant white supremacists, that are now you've put fuel to the fire. You've given them an extra set of batteries and shoved it in their back and said, "Go on there, cause all the chaos you want."
And that's why the protests are happening, and it's honestly, if I didn't have a full-time job, I didn't have to support a family, I'd probably be out there too every single day. I feel the worst thing here's where I feel really bad. On Election Day, I don't know if a lot of people know about this, but Susan B. Anthony's grave is here in Rochester, New York. Okay? Hundreds of people, after they voted, stood in line, went to her grave. I think it's over there on Mount Hope Avenue next to the
Mount Hope Cemetery, if I'm not mistaken.
And took their sticker, put it on her grave to show,
like a solidarity sort of a thing. A woman
that
voter.
They voted for a woman president, and now I bet you she turned in her grave, not because a woman didn't get elected, but because Donald Trump got elected.
The exact opposite. Like,
I mean, you should be like, that right there. Like, honestly, like I feel ashamed. I don't feel like American right now. I really don't, Chris. And I do what I need to do to survive, to support my family, to do what I got to do. But other than that, I don't. I just live here. And I publicly said on Twitter that I would go to Canada just to get away from this bullshit. And that's I mean, it's not, I mean, I kind of, with these protests, I kind of want to see the America burn a little bit. But if it gets really bad, I may consider doing that. I mean, I just got a better position at my job. I still have a second job, which I still have to have because I got to, pay bills off. Mm-hmm. But I am very, I am considering doing that. If it gets bad to the point of where people are just, being ignorant to each other and it's just turning into a shithole.
Yeah.
If I can afford it, I may do that.
Like, we have to. Here's my take. Obviously, I want to sit and wait it out. I want to see what's going to happen. But once again, we can't let shit become normalized. We can't hear on the news, "Oh, another swastika went up today. Another church got burned." That shit cannot. We cannot let that shit come up and go, "Oh, okay, it's just another day." No, that shit is not normal. We can't. Let's. We have to support our president or our president-elect. And I'm not. Whatever. But if shit starts getting out of hand, we have to fucking nip it in the fucking bud. Saying swastika and shit like that come up, that shit's got to be turned down. And if you know someone who's doing that shit, call the fucking cops. That's a fucking hate crime. And just don't let that shit become normal. It shouldn't be fucking normal.
And by the way, this goes the other direction too. If you're gonna protest, don't fucking sit there and destroy property. Number one.
Yeah.
And number two, like the fucks that yesterday into today into this morning, I don't know. 4 cops were shot.
Oh yeah.
1 was killed. Different states. Stop that, please. That's not gonna get you anywhere. I get that, the cops are shitty in some communities, but not every single cop is a bad guy. What do we got on the stream?
So Chris says, I know a number of Rust Belt Democrats that voted for Trump and a number of Republicans that didn't vote because they can't stand Trump. Yeah, that's
what happened.
I get the whole middle class white worker, wanting, they felt what they called the silent majority, what they call themselves. You know, they felt like they were losing their country, and they want to step up. And I get that, you know, but...
Well, see, here, I mean, you know, on top
if you feel disenfranchised, I understand why you felt disenfranchised, but, you know, if you have cousins or neighbors or brothers, or if you know someone doing some kind of hate crime type shit, you need to nip that shit right in the fucking bud, you know?
Well, and on top of that, I mean, it's what you're saying, by the way, those are probably some of the silent Trump voters that they were talking about. Mm-hmm. There were Republicans that crossed over for Hillary because they were like, why? Why do I want this guy? This guy's a fucking piece of shit. Why do I want him as my president? You know, so, I mean, it went all different ways in this election. But, what was I going to say? It's... I think the biggest thing, besides Obamacare, was the whole thing about... And, you know, CNN's touched on this a little bit, and... It's these towns, like, for example, Rochester had Kodak. For years and years, people would move here because Kodak was here. You could get a job easily. Same thing with, it used to be Kodak, Xerox, whatever. Xerox is still here because they have the call center. There's Harris.
Bausch and Lomb.
Is Bausch and Lomb still here? I think it's still here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can understand where people are coming from because these big factories were in your small town, and that was the only thing that you had, and now it's closed. Mm-hmm. Same thing with, like, you were talking about prisons that one time on the podcast. Prison closes down, now you got nothing in the town to work for. There's some people that drive, like, hours to get to a job. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. I think Sketch has done that before. Mm-hmm. It's terrible, but it is what it is. The point that I'm trying to make is I understand that. I get that. But do you think that's going to change under a Trump administration? It's not. It is not. Okay? Yes, we can get rid of illegal people probably. And yes, we can probably make some changes that need to happen with Obamacare. There are some things that I think need to change. Like the whole 30-hour full-time thing is bullshit. Mm-hmm. But that all being said, I still don't... I think everybody that voted for Trump, especially my fellow Democrats that voted for Trump, I think you should be really ashamed because you're voting for a guy who pretty much, he's got court cases where he's allegedly raped some girls. Seriously, I don't know if those stories are true, mm-hmm. but I mean it's gotten that bad.
Yeah, where there's smoke, there's fire.
So I mean, let's do this next question and move on.
So and then Jen says eliminate NAFTA and it will happen. And Jen, thanks for joining. Jen has been our definite Trump supporter, and I just want to say, Jen, I love you. I love you. You know I love you, and I know I come down really hard on Trump supporters, especially on my Facebook.
By the way, Jen, I'm buying a Love Trump's Hate shirt. So, and I will start wearing it during every podcast just to spite you.
But what am I saying? I know I've been bashing Trump supporters on my Facebook feed. And I do feel kind of bad because people I know and people I care about support Trump. And I know I can get really fucking, dickish about it. And, I don't want you to take that personal or anything like that. Oh, Jen says laugh my ass off. I think she means your
yeah.
So it's just, don't think that I'm being...
I might get Chris.
I bash. Look, Paul and I, we tease each other and shit like that. And you know what? And I know I have family members. I know I have family members who are still on my Facebook feed who have supported Trump and has sat there and let me fucking rant and rave and get it out of my system and haven't like taken it to heart. And it's just I need to vent what I have to vent. You know what I'm saying? It's really... like I'll say something anti-religion. And no one says anything. Or I'll say something like, I hate, whatever. I hate people who can't fucking drive, and no one says anything. And I have friends. I have friends that are super religious, and I know when I say stuff that's anti-religion, I feel bad. Like I don't want to. I'll say something like, people who are religious are assholes and idiots. And then I have religious friends on my Facebook feed, and I'm like, wow, I hope I'm not really talking about them. You know, because if you're that kind of a hypocrite, you're not really a friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? Like my religious friends aren't hypocrites that are practice one thing and act another way.
Right.
And I don't want. And I said I know I've been kind of really digging into Trump, and I don't want people. And luckily, to the best of my knowledge, no one has unfriended me. I've had to unfriend one person just because they were getting a little too much in my face about it. So. Just Jen, I just wanted to just say, like, I hope I haven't burnt the bridge with you. I mean, you're commenting on the show, so I guess you've taken it all in stride and understand. It's coming from me. I'm an asshole.
Well, and look, I'm not going to really talk about this too much anymore. You won't see as much on my feed. Mm-hmm. Either one of my feed. Twitter's even worse because a lot of people agree with me on Twitter. But if I see something stupid that Trump did, I'm going to comment about it and I'm going to fucking bitch about it. But guess what? Deal with it. I don't want Trump as my president. As far as I'm concerned, he isn't my president. He can go fuck himself. So, and that's where I am.
All right. Oh, and Jen says it's all good. And I think with that, after literally an hour of talking about this, we had a couple minutes talking about the weather, and it was all anti-Trump or election stuff.
And we'll do speed topics after this.
And we'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. Oh, I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. Watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little history all popping up
absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped from watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was going to be a rough.
How did you watch this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers, One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. Okay, Paul, so as something that I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, I am lined up for a new job starting Monday. So we're going to get through the holiday.
You're welcome.
You didn't. It's not the job that you were going to get me.
You're welcome.
What?
But what happened? What did you not tell me about? Getting a phone call about a person?
Oh, okay, yeah. So no, I put you as a reference. I'm sorry. I should have let you know that.
They're all like. So have you worked with Chris Cologne before? I'm like, yeah, maybe.
We've been working together for like 3 years, 2.5, 3 years now, technically. You know, I've written for your website.
Like, would you hire him back at Rite Aid? I'm like, yes.
Well, that was the confusing thing because there's two Pauls. Two of my references are Pauls.
There should be no other Pauls. I am the ultimate Paul.
Well, he was the manager that hired me and Paul.
Stop fucking cheating on me.
and probably one of maybe 3 people who worked at Rite Aid who I don't hate with a fucking passion. The other Paul, the Paul who's a manager at Rite Aid, and I would easily put down as a reference because I know he knows that I'm a good worker and stuff like that. All right, so Sketch says it seems really backwards for religious folks to vote for Trump. I guess it's because he suggests that he will uphold the right-wing principles, but as a Christian, I cannot stomach that man. Okay, you know what? I read that comment, Sketch, and we're gonna. It's for the record, but we're not gonna go back into that. This is the second half of the show. We spend an hour talking about.
Chris doesn't want to be on here for 5 hours. Neither do I, because you want to record a podcast.
I love the podcast, I just promised we'll get to the.
By the way, Sean, thank you for sharing the stream too. I noticed that you did that. Because I can see things too, Chris. So,
oh, okay with that. So, so it's going to be. I'm going to be getting paid $1 more an hour, pretty much more than $1 more an hour, guaranteed a 40-hour week. Because quite frankly, and if anything, they said if anything, we may need you to stay extra hours. Which I've always been crying. My whole time with Rite Aid, I kept crying about having not getting enough hours, a stable. Weekends off as of right now. They said weekends off, so I'm super excited. It's a new challenge for me. I don't technically have to shave the beard. I might just so I can go in there with a clean slate. I'm excited. It's not a job that I thought I'd ever have in a million years, but I'm going to give it a shot. And. And Sketch says that's fine. I don't want to put any more fuel on the fire. So Sketch asks they're not recording. We'll be done. Hopefully, we'll done in about a half an hour. Sketch. I got like a whole list of things I wanted to talk about.
We'll go through it very quickly.
Okay. So, am I going to shave the beard? I may shave it. I will record it for a stranger vlog, just so you can watch me cry as I shave this 2 years plus a couple months beard. Recreational marijuana was made legal
several states
in California. It was a couple other states that was made recreational. Was it Colorado also? It had to be Colorado. Colorado starts all the fucking weed stuff. My point is, I'd love to see all the people that have magically stopped going to their doctors now for medical marijuana. Like all these people had glaucoma or night terrors, right? Now all of a sudden I don't have those conditions. I don't need medical marijuana anymore. Now I could just smoke fucking a regular good old fashioned doobie. Okay, all right. Let's get to the nerdy news. Goldberg, in sort of nerdy news, I guess WWE counts as
yes.
Goldberg last night beat Brock Lesnar. In what was it? Survivor Series? No,
Survivor Series. In under 2 minutes.
In under 2 minutes, in typical Goldberg fashion. I'm surprised they're bringing back the Goldberg. I was actually at WrestleMania 20. I actually saw the last Goldberg Brock Lesnar fight, which was boring as fuck. Like you mentioned earlier, people knew they were leaving. There was no fucking energy behind it. And I was in Madison Square Garden. Imagine being in Madison Square Garden for WrestleMania 20. So obviously the crowd was all hyped. And just the fucking energy being sucked out of the room. So people that match was so boring as fuck. I saw the highlights. Because there was, it's fun. Like WWE, I guess, not that they don't care. They shared it like on their own page, right? The WWE Network, that fight from last night?
They didn't share the whole fight, but what happened was pretty much like
the internet being the way the internet is.
Yeah, there's like two or three people that put the video up. As of right now, WWE hasn't taken it down. I don't think they're really looking to take it down.
It's a commercial. It's a commercial for the WWE Network. But so they're bringing that back. you know, I mean, I remember the heyday, because even like before we were recording this, Paul is watching, you know, the WWE stream on his phone, and it's like, I haven't really watched or cared for wrestling in so long.
I don't usually,
and I'm familiar with the characters because my friends talk about it on social media. Like, I'm familiar with New Day, and I'm familiar with Kevin Owens, and I'm familiar with Paige, and you know, like, I hear these people's names, and even like when you're watching it, like, it wasn't intriguing me, you know. And then the funny thing is, the commentators, the people that are talking about it, it's like Lita and Booker T and Jerry the King Lawler, and it's like, those are the people I remember. Those are the people that was the era that I watched. I mean, I watched, I would say, right until like Daniel Bryan was starting to become a thing, when he was doing his yes, 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 and no, no, no. That was around the time I stopped watching. So I would say about 4 or 5 years ago is when I stopped. You know, I think like the last time I watched it was like Daniel Bryan and Kane were like a weird tag team match, you know, like tag team partners.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched it since. And my friends watch it, and I want to get into it, but I can't. But but they may have hooked me with this Goldberg Brock Lesnar thing, because those are two names that I recognize and I actually give a shit about. So, or at least Goldberg. And not that I don't give a shit about Brock Lesnar, but okay, he lost the match last night. Well, yeah, I mean, here's a guy who kind of told Vince McMahon to go fuck himself and wants to go do quote unquote real wrestling, when, you know, you can make a nice chunk of change doing fucking fake wrestling. I mean, look at the Rock. You know, Rock, what, sexiest man alive, highest paid actor in Hollywood right now, and he comes back every couple of months. He'll come back for WrestleMania. You know, we'll see a Rock thing. What's that?
That's Darrell.
I start my new job. Call me, damn it. And so,
we would love to try to call you, but the problem is we're not set up right now to do that.
We will set it up soon, and we'll make Oscar happy.
We'll try to see if we can do it next time, because we'll see if we can do it, because I don't. I mean, we have applications recorded over Skype, but I don't know. I mean, it should be okay. I don't know.
Yeah, all we need is a headphone splitter. It would be no different than what we're doing now. It just we couldn't live stream that episode.
Yeah.
You know. Okay, so like I said,
he's like, you're killing me, Smalls. We love you, Darrell.
And it's funny, like it's funny, like Oscar. Oh yeah, because Oscar did send me another letter just saying, Chris, get over it. Oscar and the other half of the United States. I'm like, Oscar, to Trump voters, you're just another Mexican. Even though you're from Peru or whatever, a Trump supporter. Trump, they were telling, and God, I don't want to get into more political shit, but like they're telling people, oh, Trump's president, he's going to send you back to your country. Saying that to a Puerto Rican. Yeah. Puerto Rico is part of the United States. You can't deport us. But I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that out. I'm not going to let it become a.
You're just doing the whole Christ thing.
I don't know. I just trying to fucking exorcise the demon of Donald Trump out of the conversation. Okay, so like I said, Brock Lesnar said he knows that's why he's going to go. I mean, Brock Lesnar thought he could be the man and do real wrestling because Brock Lesnar was a college wrestler. That's how he got his.
He also played professional football too.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess he bit the hand that fed. You know, he went and he left the UFC and then come back to WWE, and you're going to get, you're going to have to face the wrath of Vince McMahon.
Honestly, like I would love to see a match that I would like to see personally, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, but Goldberg versus John Cena, I think that would be a good match.
Yeah, well, they said he wants to do a title run or whatever the case may be, so it would be definitely interesting to see Goldberg, John Cena, WrestleMania. What is it, 32 now or something like that?
Well, he's supposed to be at, I mean, spoiler alert for those of you that haven't watched Raw tonight. But yeah, I mean, he's going to be in the Royal Rumble, so we'll see.
I must be missing something because Darrell keeps commenting and I don't see it on my page.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't show up on the video feed. I don't know.
Okay. So, let me see what else I have. Okay, so next week, starting the 28th, after this wonderful Thanksgiving holiday that we're about to celebrate, all the DC shows on the CW, or as we like to call it, the DCW, are all going to have their crossover event. Now, why this holds a special place in my heart is that part of the reason I got into comics, and I'm pretty sure I've told this story before on the podcast, but I don't know if I ever mentioned it with you being on a podcast. My godbrother, when I was born and raised, my godbrother was a bodybuilder, and he was like Mr. New York 1982. Oh. And he was a big dude. That being said, he also worked security at a very famous New York City comic book store called the Forbidden Planet. And this was back when they were on 11th Street. Now they moved up to 13th Street. But back when they were on 11th Street, he was security. Now imagine this big fucking...
Girl said Oscar would be considered Mexican too.
Yeah, exactly, you know. So, now, that being said, so my godbrother was security at a, you know, imagine you're not going to steal fucking comic books from this place. This big fucking muscle-bound, He-Man looking dude is going to fucking beat the shit out of you. Now, that being said, my godbrother also collected comic books. I mean, his room was literally like a bed and some shelves and just boxes of comics. You know, what people who read comics call long boxes. He had long boxes. And he had toys and stuff like that. I mean, he was a grown-up kid. Unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 30 of a heart attack. That's a whole other issue I don't want to talk about. But before he passed, he gave me these 3 comics. Now, these 3 comics were called DC Invasion, the Invasion comics. And it was, the original comics started back in 1989, and it was 3 80-page issues about these aliens who come to the DC universe, and they set off a bomb on Earth. Well, first, it's these aliens, and they recruit other aliens from around the fucking galaxy to come to Earth, because they're like, Earth has all these fucking metahumans on it. And they that's the first time I ever heard the phrase metahuman. This is back in 1989. And they release a bomb on Earth, which takes all the superheroes that are metahumans, as in those who got their powers genetically. Now, of course, with the shows like Arrow, shows like Flash, people got it from the incident that, you know, when the lightning at Star Labs and all this other bullshit. So obviously, I mean, they're going to take giant leaps and bounds with it, like they did with Flashpoint on the Flash. But it's about aliens coming to Earth to depower the metahumans because they feel the humans are a fucking threat. Right. I mean, and hey, I mean, Supergirl's an alien. Superman is an alien. These are aliens. So, I don't know if that's the storyline that they're going to go with, but it's based on the DC Invasion comics, and it's like those TV shows. The DC Invasion series brought in all the superheroes, or as many as they, you know, it wasn't just Superman and Batman. I mean, it was fucking, you know, Dr. Fate and Green Lantern and Hawkgirl and all these characters that don't really get into the spotlight. It was a big event. The way like the Infinity Gauntlet was a big event, and the Infinity Gauntlet took place a couple years later. So we probably wouldn't even have the Infinity Gauntlet if it wasn't for the DC Invasion series. The same way they had, you know, Crisis on Infinite Earths and all that other, you know, nonsense. Well, not nonsense, but so the DC Invasion series has a special place in my heart because it was a gift from my godbrother, rest his soul. So I'm super excited to see. And, you know, I love The Flash. I've caught a couple episodes of Supergirl. You know, Legends of Tomorrow, I try to watch. The last episode had Jonah Hex, and I was bored to fucking tears. You know, you have a show that's so good, and they do a Wild West episode.
I'm keeping up with Arrow. It's... First of all, I still haven't... I gotta put my review on it. I've been so busy that I haven't gotten that review on. I will get it out probably either this week or next week, I promise, for season 4. But after season 4, I came into this season being like, this is going to be a shitstorm. And it's actually been really good. I've been very impressed by the season so far. I will say that not only am I impressed with this season, but I think that they've turned around a lot of things. As far as, you know, Oliver and Felicity's relationship, I think they still need to repair that. They need to do some, like, all I really want is just a normal, real argument where he just sits there and just lays it on her, just like, you're a bitch. I did all this stuff for you. I have done literally everything for you. I lie once, and you don't want to be with me. Okay? This is where I am. This is where the fuck I am. I don't give a shit what you want to do. But you want to still do this? Fine. But what you did was shitty, and I needed you to fucking know that, because you know what? That's bullshit. And we should be together. That's what I would have said. I would have been like, fuck you. And by the way, I would have kicked her to the fucking curb, too.
Darrell says Flash is Paul's nickname. So,
wait, no, that's not nice. Fuck you.
So, I'm super excited for next week. And then the cool thing is that I'm going to be, now that I have that new job, I'm going to have my evenings when other...
Well, if you get the CW app, you can watch it all the time.
That's true, yeah.
It's free. See, that's a weird thing. People don't know this, and this is a little thing for those of you watching the stream live right now. You can actually, if you have like the Roku box, you have Amazon Fire Stick. As far as I know, when you download the CW app, it's free.
Yeah,
it's completely free. There's a CW Seed app, which has some other shows on it. I think you need to have. It only works on phones right now. It doesn't work on like every single thing.
Well, I mean, I think like you could watch. It's like what, every episode, right? It's like every episode.
Every episode. I've watched every episode off there.
There's nothing wrong with that. Why don't like I understand why Netflix needs to make money and stuff like that, but Hulu, I loved Hulu. I watched Hulu. Then I'm going back a couple years.
I'm going to be honest with you, and then obviously we got to get out of here. But I actually think Hulu's doing Hulu. I like Hulu a lot more, just because it has a lot more content on it. Netflix, I think, needs to step with their game in the sense that they need to do the same thing as Hulu and the same thing as CW app is doing. Have ads. What the fuck does it matter? What the fuck does it matter?
Aren't there shows on Netflix that have ads?
No.
Oh, okay, all right. So,
no.
I mean, okay, so...
Well, sometimes they have ads, but most of the time, if it's an ad, it's just promoting a show.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, I mean, I get Netflix for what they're doing, and I guess, we wouldn't have good shows like, Stranger Things. As much as I bash Stranger Things, it was a good show. Orange is the New Black, Black Mirror. I mean, those are good shows, and I guess, you have to subscribe to get that kind of content. But, I mean, Hulu, let me tell you, and it's funny, as of right now, because once again, without Wi-Fi or anything like that, I'm rewatching Lost. I bought the box set for Lost after it came out. And I bought the box set because I was watching it on Hulu. Like, I got so into the show, and at that time, that was at a time where me and my daughter's mother were in better time, when things were better with us in the relationship. I was watching Lost on Hulu, and I loved it so much that I ran out and bought the box set. Yeah. And that was like $150, that fucking box set, because it was the deluxe box set that came with all these extra stupid things that I didn't need. But,
I hate you, Darrell.
I'm just... Oh, what he
said, okay, Al Bundy.
Al Bundy, then. So, my point being is that we need more ad-supported, free ad-supported stuff, because... I have a feeling it worked for me. And as much as I like... And I'm not bashing Netflix. I'm just saying is, I like the CW. Let the CW put their shit out there. And mind you, The Flash is on Netflix. I know that for a fact. But I think I'd rather watch it on the fucking WB app, because then do ad support. It's no different than if you're watching it on TV. As a matter of fact, on computers, it's even more direct, because they get a little bit of your info. And then they can market to you directly. Okay, here's a fat fuck. He probably likes food. Okay, let's advertise food to him. Advertise hair products. The hair shaving products, or beard care product. As opposed to whatever something that advertise to you or advertise someone else who likes the Flash.
Right.
So let me see. Do I have anything else on my list?
I think we're good where we're at, honestly.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a good episode. Oh, I just wanted to say the new Metallica album's out. It fucking rocks. It kicks ass. I mean, obviously, no, it's not going to be the way Metallica were before the Black Album, pre-1990.
You surprised by that?
Kanye, Kanye
not to interrupt you, but
now he's broke and he's stupid because he's supposed to be touring, and he's having. Well, he was obviously a fucking nutball, but it's a little too late to talk again to Kanye West now. But the guy was obviously fucking crazy, and now we're all going to pay the price. But the new Metallica album's out. Even if you're broke as fuck, and I'm not saying steal the album, because that's illegal, and remember what Metallica did with Napster. That being said, you can go on YouTube. They put out a music video for every single song on the album. There's 13 songs on the album. If I'm not mistaken, 13 or 14 songs on the album. You can watch a music video for... So even if you're dirt poor, but for some reason you're watching this and you have a Wi-Fi connection or you're listening to the podcast, you could watch every single video. Meaning, also, you could also listen to every song and watch it, obviously, to support the band. Watch it off the Metallica channel, Metallica TV on YouTube. So even if you're dirt poor, you could still hear the whole album. And of course, it's on Spotify, but fuck Spotify, don't use them. YouTube ads. Click on the ad. Give them the revenue they deserve, or go out there and actually, holy shit, actually go out and buy a physical copy of the album. Metallica is one of the few bands I'll do that for. The same reason, like, I'll run out to go see Doctor Strange the night it came out, because, stuff like that I want to support, and I'll put my money towards it because I want more of it. So, the new album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. And also, I wrote an article about it. I wrote an article about how new Metallica sort of has borrowed from old Metallica. And if you want to read that article and you're not following me on social media, you could see the article on twostrangersonepodcast.net. So, it's not really an article, it's more of a piece. Because it's not really structured like an article.
It's
but
just pictures of him new.
I break down every track. And I talk about what the track's about, and I also talk about what older Metallica songs it kind of sounds like. So if that's your kind of thing, check it out on twostrangersonepodcast.net if you don't already follow me on social media. Obviously, everyone who's been commenting on the show are friends of ours of the show, but if you're new to the show, welcome. I apologize for the hour's worth of political talk. Hopefully, we won't do that again for a long while, unless fucking World War III breaks out, then we will talk about it. So, let's wrap it up. That's what she said.
Maybe.
And please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. It's a website that I developed all by myself for free. And it looks like a free website. It looks like one of those GeoCities websites from the late 90s. But that being said, you can find everything show related. You can find links to our iTunes page. And I'm glad everything converted over well with the transition from Podomatic to SoundCloud. So you can go on iTunes and search in the iTunes store, Two Strangers One Podcast, subscribe to it there on an iPhone, iPad, or iPod. If you don't have an iPhone, an iPad, and iPod, you can find us on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER, the Stitcher app for Google devices in the Google Play Store. Well, duh, I just said we're on SoundCloud. You can actually go on SoundCloud and search for Two Strangers One Podcast and subscribe to us on there. Oh, and I forgot, on Stitcher, which is the app I use to get all my podcasts. I put it on the listen later option and the available offline option. So where you're in a Wi-Fi spot, you can download all the episodes that you want. You can download them, add them to the listen later, so you're not killing your data, you're not killing your battery, and listen to them later on. This is what I do, because I come to Paul's house, I use his Wi-Fi, I get my podcasts, and then I'll listen to them throughout the week. Chris Hardwick's Nerdist, Kevin Smith's Smodcast, This American Life, Mark Maron, Adam Carolla, and of course, Paul's other baby, the Toonami Faithful Podcast, is on the Stitcher app.
Damn straight.
But also, the Toonami Faithful Podcast is also on SoundCloud. So once you subscribe to us on SoundCloud, you can subscribe to the Toonami Faithful Podcast on SoundCloud. And we are also available in the Google Play Store. So we're on. We're actually, even though we're on in Stitcher, we're actually like in the genuine Google Play Store. So you can. There's like 4 different ways you can get the show. Let me see what else. You can write to us like Oscar did. We spent the first hour of the show, well, not really just talking about Oscar's letter, but a good chunk of that first hour was between Trump and Oscar, the two villains of the show. You can write to us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. That's twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/twostrangersonepodcast. That's all spelled out. Once again, we want your money. We need your money. But if you don't have a dime to give us, it takes 2 seconds to like and share us on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Stranger Podcast, which I haven't been really going crazy on, but I have been spamming people for the Terror Vision episode that I did for Cinema Psyops. Check out the podcast in general, Cinema Psyops, but my episode is episode 64. That's Cinema, Cinema, Psyops, Psyops. Episode 64, we talk about the movie Terror Vision. And it's a great episode. It's pretty funny. And it's funny how me and Court and Matt, or the host of the show, we're sort of on the same page when it comes to kind of rude jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah, you cheated on me again.
But that was, and I'm going to have them on the show, so maybe we'll do that Skype thing with them also. Even though I know you don't listen to their podcast.
You're a fucking cheater.
I'm not a cheater. I'm not monogamous. I'm polyamorous. And then also...
All right, Miley Cyrus.
Also go on YouTube, check out our YouTube videos, because I was going to go through all the pain in the ass of archiving our old episodes on the new server. That's just proven to be a real fucking pain in the ass, and I'm probably not going to do it. So if you'd like to listen to old episodes, 4 years worth of podcasts, you can go on YouTube and search for Two Strangers One Podcast. There you could find every single episode up until this one on YouTube. Search for Two Strangers One Podcast. And once again, I can't tell you to like the videos. I can't tell you to click on the ads before the videos. I can't tell you to click on the ads and the banners that come up while during the video. But if you did, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, it would certainly help the show. So, God damn it, I want my 13 cents. So that's all the ways you can... And check out my Stranger vlog. I did one, my two recent ones. I'm going to do one about cutting the beard. But my two recent ones, I did one about going to Comic-Con. And then I did a 24-minute video of all the stuff that I got at Comic-Con. So check those out. The Stranger vlog. Just once again, just search for Two Strangers One Podcast. I believe that was the most recent one where I talk about the stuff I got at Comic-Con was episode 39. So, and hey, if you want to know any of that stuff, look, I'm in between work right now. Make me an offer. Hit me up in the comments. And share and like those on your page also if you can. That'd be greatly appreciated. And I acquiesce the floor to you, sir.
All right, well, you can find me on Twitter at Paul Bascrillo. You can Instagram me. It's instagram.com/Paul Bascrillo. I'm actually posting pictures.
Yeah.
You can ask me questions. It's ask.fm/Paul Bascrillo if you have any questions about the podcast, about Toonami stuff, whatever. By the way, fuck you, Oscar. I don't talk about Toonami on here that much. And then if you want to email me, it's paulbascrillo@toonamifaithful.com. So, yeah. That's about it. Oh, and Nerdcore Absolution Volume 3 is now up for pre-order. You can get that now. It's you can pre-order it now. It's kikiinkproductions.bandcamp.com. Click on the picture for Nerdcore Absolution Volume 3, and you can pre-order it now. It will be out, I believe it is the 8th, if I'm correct. I'm losing my mind because I've been doing too much stuff here, so give me 2 seconds and I can tell you what the exact date is. It is December 9th. So, December 9th is when it officially comes out. But you can buy it now. You can pre-order it for $9 now. You get 10 tracks. One of those is free. So.
And we certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye. You should be fapping.
All night long.
All night. Oh, yeah.
All night.
Hopefully I didn't keep Paul from recording Toonami Faithful tonight. Bye!
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled Colon.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? Sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I got to meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
Yeah, it
man.
is.
Look at her, fucking. She's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. It's just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. I want to, and if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15 and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15's not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will totally read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudie in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne right now.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.